Russian war threat. U.S. and NATO preparing for all contingencies. America's permanent representative to NATO has emphasis that the U.S. and its NATO partners are preparing for a possible Russian expansion of its war on Ukraine into European territory, though she expressed that such a threat is not imminent. Julianne Smith, the NATO ambassador of America, told at a briefing on Tuesday that Russia remains the preeminent threat that we're grappling with. We do not see an imminent threat to NATO territory. NATO is not sitting on its hands. It's not waiting for any possible contingency. Instead, it's preparing for all contingencies. NATO leaders, especially those on the eastern frontier with Russia, are increasingly warning that Moscow is a direct threat to the Western Bloc, posing a serious danger of a larger war within the coming decade. A Russian victory in Ukraine will encourage further aggression by Moscow, Smith said. We have also seen many times in history where if a dictator is not stopped, or an authoritarian leader, they keep going, she said, referring to President Vladimir Putin. That's why it's so important that we all help Ukraine push Russia out of its territory and end this unprovoked aggression, because if they do not succeed, of course, the concern is that Russia will feel compelled to keep going, the ambassador added. The U.S. does not feel that a Russian threat to NATO is immediate. We are not signaling to anyone that war is imminent, Smith said. We look for indicators and warning, Smith added. We monitor the situation regularly, as you might imagine, to look for other indicators and warnings that Russia is preparing to do something above and beyond what it's doing in Ukraine. Right now, we see Russia all in and engaged with this unprovoked war of aggression inside Ukraine, but we do not have indicators or warnings right now that a Russian war is imminent on NATO territory, and I really want to be clear about that. I don't want to give our friends in the impression that somehow war is coming to NATO territory overnight, Smith added. We take it seriously, but we do not see this to be an imminent threat. With Ukrainian troops on the defensive, after more than 2 years at war, Western nations are seeking to reinvigorate its military and continue political backing while struggling with domestic elections and economic strains. President Zelensky is pressing the Western partners to maintain and expand support. The president said that Ukraine expects a major new Russian offensive and warned that Moscow's success would imperil Western nations. At the moment, it's us, then Kazakhstan, then Baltic states, then Poland, then Germany. At least half of Germany, Zelensky said. This aggression and Putin's army can come to Europe, and then the citizens of the United States, the soldiers of the United States, will have to protect Europe because they're the NATO members. French President Macron have even raised the prospect of deploying NATO troops in Ukraine. Smith said the U.S. does not support such an effort. The U.S. does not back sending troops to fight in Ukraine. We've been very clear about that, she said. We are not interested in becoming party to this conflict, but we do want to support Ukraine as it defends itself against Russian aggression.